A very good morning to you all. Respected Principal of Government First Grade College, Chandrayapatna, Dr. Lokesh M.N., IQAC Coordinator, and Librarian Sri Nagaraju B.G., Organizing Secretary, Dr. Ajay Kumar K.N., faculty members of the college, and other various college teachers, research scholars, and PG students. Myself, Dr. H.R. Sujata, librarian and vice principal, uh, now retired from Sri Venkatramana Swami College, Bandwal, Dakshina Kannada. Today, I would like to present you the topic how to write a research article. We will discuss in detail about it and also the steps to be followed, and then we will see what should be the format while writing a research article. I will first start with the research process and then explain you the research format. Whenever we start searching any topic or any idea, we need to think on what topic would you like to write. Hence, choosing a research topic is the most challenging part because it is the base or the starting point of a research. If you don't choose the topic appropriately, chances are that you may end up without knowing how to go about the topic or how to justify the topic and leave it midway only. Most important thing to remember is while selecting a topic, search the topic that will interest you, that is the topic of your area of interest. Next point is in order to finalize your topic, make a good background study before you choose a topic. Now, what is the aim of research? Aim of research is to find new facts or revisit the existing facts and look at it and see whether it is still valid. So basically, aim of research is to add something new to the existing body of knowledge. If you take up a research topic in which already a lot of work is done, so it will be like copying a research and pasting it. No new knowledge will be added to the existing knowledge. So it is very important to do a background study of all the work done on the topic you have decided. Hence, before finalizing a research topic, go through the various journal articles and existing research papers and then figure out a research gap and then take up either a totally unexplored area or partially unexplored area and begin your research. Also remember that this background study will help you a lot while writing an introduction or writing an abstract. And the third point is that you have to make your topic extremely specific, or else if it is open-ended research topic, that is very broad topic, you can never find a conclusion. Let us take for example library science subject. Library science is a very broader term, but if we start narrowing the topic like cataloging, classification, library automation, we get different ideas. Suppose if we say library automation, inside the library automation, we have different fields like what are the different softwares available in the market, whether it is commercial or open source. Open source means free software. Then we can do the comparative study of the commercial or free software. which is more useful and which is more user friendly, so on. We can do the comparative study. This can be one idea, and the second topic can be a status report of library automation in the university libraries of Karnataka and issues and challenges of library automation in the college libraries of Karnataka with special reference to Dakshina Kannada district. So what I mean to say is that whenever you are selecting a topic or an idea, you have to be very clear about the idea. Then you have to start the process of research. So under research process, first you have to think about the research idea and then narrow the research idea, then only you will get a successful result. The second process starts with the literature review. This is the most important literature review. This is the most important part in research because we will get an idea on what are the things already researched on the topic and what I have to research on this particular topic which I have chosen. Many researchers struggle when it comes to writing a literature review for their research paper. A literature review is a comprehensive overview of all the knowledge available on the specific topic till date. When you decide on a research topic, usually the first step you take in the direction of conducting research is learn more about the previous research already published on the topic, and this eventually translates into literature review when you write your research paper. Literature review is one of the pillars on which your research idea stands since it provides context, relevance, and background to the research problem you are exploring. When we begin with reviewing the literature, we get so many ideas. We get idea regarding our research design. When we begin the review, we won't know what has already been done on the topic and what I have to do. But literature review helps us in how should my research design be. It helps in formulating the hypothesis. Formulating the hypothesis. Without the hypothesis, originality of the research may fluctuate. So, literature review informs about the research work already done related to your topic. It helps to find the research gap and also helps to find the relevant information about the topic. Literature review helps in data collection and also data analysis. Related to the topic of research, we have to browse many resources like the online and offline resources. Now, moving to the next step, that is the research problem. Suppose we have chosen the topic, then we have to find out what the problem is and we will start thinking, why should I choose this topic? Why not the other research topic? So when we start comparing, then we will come to a conclusion and also think about the steps to be followed if I select a certain topic. By doing the literature review, we come across the research problems also, which helps in formulating the objectives of the research study. Then the objectives have to be framed based on the research problems. Based on the objectives, our topic and literature review questionnaire is developed. Then through the questionnaire, we collect the data. There are different ways of distributing the questionnaire. It can be online or offline and go directly to and distribute the questionnaire. So these are the various methods of collecting the, distributing the questionnaire. I would like to give you in this video some tips which are useful and some tips which you have to avoid. Any research article will have three main divisions, that is the introduction, body, and conclusion. Research questions and research statement has to come under introduction part. The research results and your assigned arguments have to be included in the body of the research article. And finally, write the summary and significance of the topic in the conclusion part. Next step is how to write an abstract for a research article. Writing an abstract of a research article, it is an art. It is the summary of your research article. It should summarize all parts of the article by writing accurately, concisely, and include only the most important content. You can keep your reader seduced in reading your article. Writing an abstract of a research article is an art because by reading your abstract, anybody should find what your research is about and what are its findings. If you don't write an abstract for the research article, then there won't be any meaning or no value for your article. Abstract will provide a general guidelines of your manuscript. It will give a general idea of your work. First of all, you have to write the importance of your research work, how important your research work is, and an introduction of the topic can also be written here. Also, you can explain the hypothesis of your research. The abstract can be between 250 to 300 words. So next, you can write about the research methodology you followed, what you did, and how you performed, and then the result, that is, what were your findings, and finally, the implications of the research study. Implications are basically the conclusions that you draw from your results and explain why it was important to conduct the study and how it will impact future research in your field. You should base your implications on how previous similar studies have advanced your field and how your study can add to that. And one more thing is that under abstract, you should not write the references from where this was referred from. Do not include any table, chart, or figure while writing an abstract. Abbreviations also should not be used in the abstract. Abbreviations can be used in the body of the article, but not in the abstract. After abstract, next part is the keywords. It can contain about 8 to 10 keywords. Keywords should be such that it should help to find your paper when anybody is searching your paper. After this comes the next part, which is how to write the body of the research article. In this, first comes the introduction, and then the literature review. After that, the methodology section, then the findings, results, and discussions. Now let us see what to write in the introduction. So here you can write what research you want to do, what literature review was done. So this was already explained in the earlier part. So I won't go into the details of it. Importance of your study. You have to explain all this here. Under methodology, what research process you followed? What were the experiments conducted if it is a scientific research? Here you can use the charts, formula, or figures, and even flow charts. In this section, you have to explain what all facts and figures are used and what all you have done to get the results. You can even explain which all tests were conducted, analysis, how the analysis was done and techniques followed should be explained briefly here. Now, after this comes the findings and the results. Here you can show the tables and explain that in detail. Also, you can explain what result was got by another researcher which you had found while reviewing the literature, and when you conducted a similar work, what result you found. You can also write the comparison of your results with the results of other similar research work. For example, if in your results you get some tax ratio, you can show your findings and tell about the other researcher findings. And you can also compare these two findings in this section. You can also discuss how your results are better than various other similar work and how your research work is stronger than other works and the limitations of your results. So now we come to the last part, that is the conclusion of a research article. So you can summarize the key points of your article here. You have to write the significance of your findings and provide some recommendations based on your results, and you give suggestions for further research on the topic. So last part is the references. It is essential to include a reference list or bibliography of the reference material you consulted during your research for writing the article. It also gives credit to the authors you have consulted for their idea. It is important to check your references carefully, because if your reviewer finds the works you have cited and the works reviewed don't match, then also there are chances that your paper will be rejected. So you need to cite and write different references which provides an acknowledgement that you are using someone else's idea. However, when you start literature review, the format in which references are presented in different journals are not the same. The same references are written in different ways. That means there are different styles of referencing. So, but in your article, you have to follow one format of reference style. So here in this slide, you can see different styles of referencing. So some journals might use the MLA, that is Modern Language Association style, and then APA. Some journals, they follow APA, that is American Psychological Style, and others follow Chicago style, Harvard referencing style, and Vancouver style. So there are different referencing styles. The basic information included in all the formats is the same. You can see here. All the information is the same. The research project you are writing might require a particular style of referencing, and this is quite natural. And different universities or journal publications might stick to a particular style of referencing. For the author, it will be very tedious and time consuming to write all the references in a particular style. So, because the references we are citing in a different format. Now I will teach the young researchers how to cite the references or write the references quickly and easily. For this, we have to go to Google and type Google Scholar, and then Google Scholar, we get this. And then under the Google Scholar, if you know, you can type the name of the author or the title of the article. Here I will type my name. So, and then, so here I get the articles which are, I am a part of all these articles. All the articles written by me appear here. Now we have to write the reference of any of this article in a style preferred by a journal or a university. Suppose a journal follows Vancouver style. So I will teach you the quick and the easiest method of writing the references. So under Google Scholar, suppose I want to cite a particular reference of this article. You need to click to this. Next to the star, you can see the inverted comma. You can click over this. Then you can see all the different formats. You can see all the different formats are here. Suppose I want to cite this particular reference in Vancouver style. So I'll just click over here and it is automatically selected, and just I will I'll copy this, Control C, and then go to this page. So this is my reference page. Here I will paste it, Control V. So it is very easily, we need not go and manually write it, but it is easily written and it is time saving. And so now this reference is written in Vancouver style. Again, if I want to go and cite another reference in the same style, so I will select another article. I'll go here. I'll select another article. So here again we get the different styles of references. So again I will go to this Vancouver style. I'll copy this, and then paste in my reference page. So it is automatically selected. Then, so like this, many articles can be cited. Now I will go to this particular article again. One more article I will go. So here I'll go back. I'll select one more article. So here again, I'll click on this. It gets automatically selected, and then I'll copy this, and then we'll paste here. So all the three references are uniformly copied, pasted in Vancouver style. So this is the easiest way of writing references for a particular journal. If you require Vancouver style, you can follow that style, or follow the Chicago, Harvard style. You can follow that style, or even the APA or MLA style. So this is the fastest and the easiest way to write references using Google Scholar. So there are other referencing. There are other referencing tools also. Right. So this is one of them. That is, for example, www.citethis4me.com. This is a very useful referencing tool. You can find it. It is free also. And one more example is www.mendeley.com. So these two are the free referencing tools. So it will reduce your headache and time constraint of manually writing the references. These are very good tools for referencing website pages and research articles. After the references, there are other parts also, abbreviations and acknowledgement. So abbreviations will come in a research paper when any term is repeated several times in a paper. For example, information communication technology, we can write the abbreviation as ICT, and at the end of the paper, all abbreviations will be stated in their full form. After abbreviations, we can write the acknowledgement. If you have to thank anyone who have helped you in the conduct of this research work. For example, if it's a sponsored work, maybe from UGC, ICSSR, etc., you can acknowledge the University Grants Commission for funding the research work and supporting to carry out the project. Under appendices, it is optional. You can add this if you have something. If you can add supplementary, if you have some supplementary material, you can under the appendices you can add this. So this is not an essential part of the text itself, but which may be useful in providing a more comprehensive understanding of the research problem. Appendices can consist of figures, tables, maps, raw data, sample questionnaire, etc. So these are the various parts of a which a research article has to include. So there are some unwritten rules also which I would like to share with you all today. One thing you must remember, that a person who have done their post-graduation can write the research article or research paper. It need not necessarily be a PhD holder or a research scholar. Once you are done with the writing of the article, then you can check the spelling, grammar, improve your word choice, and especially for the first timer or youngsters, you can give it for peer review among your colleagues who are doing research. They can rectify small mistakes wherever you have done here and there. These are the unwritten rules. Once you finish writing an article, you have to publish it within 4 months. Otherwise, the topic won't be relevant to the situation. Supposing if you write an article on COVID, it has to be published within 2-3 months like that. Otherwise, it won't be relevant to the situation. So you can't publish the same thing after 2 years, 3 years, or 1 year, like that. If you don't publish your paper, people will think you have not done any research work. You have to publish articles in UGC recognized journals. Go to UGC website and you can find list of UGC certified journals, and you can publish your article in such UGC recognized journals only. This is very important that you publish in a UGC recognized journals only. Remember that when you write a research article, you have to be very clear about each and every aspect you have written. And what you write has to be understandable. Now, next important aspect is about plagiarism. If you do plagiarism, it is not acceptable. So, but now plagiarism check also becomes a compulsion. Plagiarism check is the way by which they test the originality of the article. There are various plagiarism softwares available online, but you have to get your article or paper checked by a licensed software. So, by this, whenever your plagiarism report is 100% or lesser than that, then only it is acceptable by major conferences and major publication houses. Otherwise, it is not acceptable. With this, I end my topic here. I thank the organizers and the principal, Dr. Lokesh MN, for giving me this opportunity to speak during this webinar. Thank you, one and all.